Hey there, Al Perhacs, author, creator, visionary behind the Mind Force method of high performance coaching and mentoring, and welcome. The question was posed to me by one of my clients. How can I become an influencer? And the question was really posed like, how can I become an influencer? A lot of these skill sets come down to making the decision to be so. How did I decide to become an influencer? Let's go back 20 years, right? 20 years. I had no experience. I had no influence. I started studying hypnosis, NLP, hypnotic influence, and I immersed myself in that study, and I became very good at it. And I remember when I was getting ready to write my book, actually, I wasn't even going to write the book, and someone influenced me and said, why don't you just write it out? You got great stuff. And I said, but who am I? Who's going to read a book by me? This person, who was one of my clients at the time, said, who cares? Just do it. And I took that to heart, and I've done it ever since. And that's how you become an influencer. You make the decision, and then you start doing it. Now, of course, you have to have some knowledge, and that comes down to specialized knowledge. So if you want to be an influencer in a certain area, you want to learn about that thing. I remember when I was in high school, there was this kid, Jeffrey. Now, Jeffrey was a nerd, but he knew everything about sports. He never played a sport probably in his life, but he knew everything about them. He knew the stats. So he was an influencer. Never played. He couldn't tell you how to play the sports because I never saw him on the field to play. But he knew all the stats and everything. So in that realm, he was an influencer. And you can be an influencer. I mean, look at all the people that are on TV for sportscasters. Some of these guys played sports, but many of them didn't. And yet they're influencers because they know they keep abreast of all of the information. Someone that's an influencer for politics, although they've never been a politician, maybe. They've never been voted into an office, and yet they're an influencer. How? Because they became knowledgeable about that thing that they want to be an influencer on. And as you dive deep into whatever it is you're looking to influence about, you start getting better. You get more influence. So it doesn't matter. I always use the expression, whether you were from Yale or from jail, you can become an influencer if you pick something, you pick a lane, you jump in, and you do the work. You put in the flight time. That's how it works. So when you look at being, and this person, how do I become an influencer? Well, you start by obviously having the knowledge, and then start getting out there and using your personal brand to influence people. It takes one at a time. You don't have to have thousands of people, right? I mean, I've got an email list of close to 20,000. At one time, it was over 100,000, but I pulled it back. I only want those that want to listen. YouTube channel, same thing. I'm growing that, thousands of people. Same with the other social media. So I may be an influencer in some and maybe not in others, but eventually we're going to build it up. I've got the influence in the things that I teach people. So I am an influencer. You can make that same decision starting today and make the decision, say, I'm going to be an influencer with X. And then you just go out and start doing it. Act as if. It's a big thing. Act as if. And so I want you to understand that you need to do that. You need to make sure that you are aligned with whatever that influence is. You can do it. I wrote the book, Manipulation, the Master Secrets of Covert Persuasion and Hypnotic Influence. It's a different type of influence, but it still works. Check that book out if you are intrigued by it. Anyway, I've enjoyed sharing this information. You can become an influencer. Just make the decision to make it happen. And then most of all is take action and make it happen. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. So long.